Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Wednesday, September 17th, 2014. This is Texan TV news from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. And I'm Andy Barton. In campus news today, some 600 people die every year while trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border. That, according to Dr. Robin Hoover, Tuesday night speaker at Tarleton Symposium Lecture Series. Hoover is known as the advocate for migrating peoples, whether they be refugees, seekers of political asylum, victims seeking the protection of the Violence Against Women Act, or the undocumented migrants dying in large numbers along the United States border with Mexico. Hoover discussed the human suffering caused by the U.S. immigration policy. There are 11 million undocumented people in the United States and 7 million are Mexican nationals. Crossing the border has become very dangerous and expensive. There are approximately 1.2 million successful border crossings every year, but Hoover said that there are as many people returning to their home as coming into the United States. The current emphasis on immigration policy and reform is to make it physically difficult to cross at the border using aircraft, drones, ATVs, and tripling the number of U.S. Border Patrol agents. This has caused the mortality rate to increase. The best estimate is approximately 600 people die every year trying to cross the border. Hoover said that death is now a deliberately chosen policy of the U.S. government in this matter because the current policy does nothing to prevent deaths. Hoover suggests the most realistic way to improve immigration policy is not party politics, but by providing long-term visas and financial incentives for people once they are returning to their country. In Stephenville news, the Empire-Tribune reports the cowboy capital of the world is preparing for Rodeo Heritage Week, starting this Saturday with a parade and gathering at the city park. The parade will begin at 5 p.m., heading down Long Street, turning onto Baxter Road, and then heading towards downtown on Washington before finally turning onto Graham Street and finishing back at the city park. After the parade, there will be other events hosted by Brunner Motors, Ram Trucks official such as Mutton Bustin', pony rides, western vendors, and live music by Outlaw Run. The cowboy capital of the world Pro Rodeo runs September 26th through the 28th at Lone Star Arena. And now, today is Texas, national, and international news from the Associated Press. In Texas news, in Huntsville, Lisa Coleman, sentenced to death for the death of her boyfriend's 9-year-old son, is scheduled to be executed today. Coleman was hoping to win a stay of execution, but a federal appeals court declined to grant her appeal. The 38-year-old Coleman was convicted of the torture and death of the 9-year-old, who was found with over 250 different injuries and showed evidence of having been restrained and starved. The boy had only weighed in at 36 pounds. Paramedics had thought that the boy was merely only 3 to 5 years old at the time his body was found. Coleman's execution is scheduled for today in Huntsville. In national news, on August 9, 2014, in Canigua, New York, 20-year-old Kevin Ward Jr. was struck by opponent Tony Stewart's dirt track car at a race. Ward had stepped from his car after it had spun out while driving alongside Stewart. And the most of all the anger Ward was showing, Stewart's car hit Ward, killing him. The case has made its way to the grand jury to see if Stewart will be charged for the death. Michael Tantillo, the Ontario County District Attorney, has claimed that there was not enough sufficient evidence to conclude anything, so the case has been dropped from his hands. Stewart will participate willingly in the ongoing investigation. International news. Australia announced today that they are giving more than $6 million for the international response to the West African Ebola outbreak. The nation had previously given $1 million for the international relief for the disease that has claimed at least 2,400 people. Officials fear the death toll could reach 20,000. These funds include $2 million requested by Britain so they could help deliver medical services in Sierra Leone. Foreign Minister Julie Bishop said in a statement, Another $2.5 million will go to the World Health Organization's Consolidated Regional Response, and 2.5 million Australian dollars will be given to Doctors Without Borders for medical services, Bishop said. Bishop also said the health systems in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea are under severe strain, and the United Nations assesses that these countries are facing a humanitarian emergency. There have been no cases of Ebola in Australia, and health authorities rate the risk of the outbreak in the island continent as low. President Barack Obama declared Tuesday that the Ebola epidemic in West Africa could threaten security around the world. In sports, Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson has been placed on the exempt commissioner's permission list. Peterson has been charged with child abuse of his 4-year-old son. He is accused of using a wooden switch to spank him. This move by the NFL means that he cannot be with the team until the charges are tended to. Originally, the Vikings decided that Peterson was allowed to play while the case was being under investigation. Whatever this decision by owners Ziggy and Mark Wilf came after heavy criticism from any sponsors who threatened to break ties or suspend deals with Peterson or the team. And now the weather. According to the Weather Channel, expect a high of 88 degrees and a low of 72. It will be partly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain. Winds will be out of the south at 5 miles per hour with 73% humidity index. Tomorrow, expect a high of 81 degrees and low of 68, with a 90% chance of rain and thunderstorms with the winds out of the south-southeast at 9 miles per hour. This has been a production of Texan TV News, a product of the Texan News Service from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Tune in to Northland Cable Channel 9 on weekdays at 12:30 for each day's top stories, and Wednesdays at 1 for the week's top stories in Spanish. You can follow the Texan News Service on Facebook and Twitter, and check out our website at www.texannews.net for all of your latest local, state, national, and international news, as well as all of your entertainment and sports updates and the live stream of Texan TV News. Today's broadcast was produced by Sarah Sanderson, Michaela Brom, and Shayla Watson. I am Andy Barton. Have a wonderful day, Tarleton, Texans.